Morgan Freeman was born June 1st, 1937 in Memphis, Tennessee, and he was raised in a low-income household with 4 older siblings. During an interview, we see sociological imagination tie in as Freeman describes his childhood as a time of freedom, which is somewhat ironic because he grew up during a time of Jim Crow laws and racial segregation. It was for this same reason his parents moved north to find employment because of the lack of opportunity in the South. Morgan was left to stay with his grandmother, eventually moving north to live with his mom after his grandmother's passing. Even at a young age, Morgan was intrigued with actors. He would scrape together what little money he had to go see movies. Diachronic cooperation is apparent in Morgan's perseverance and resilience when working to reach his ultimate goal. He attended LA City College for acting in the early 60s and struggled to be casted in Hollywood, which is what prompted him to move to New York City. He made his big break in 1967, the same year he met his soon-to-be wife. He starred in many TV shows, but really desired movie castings. Acting proved to be somewhat unstable along with his personal life. He began drinking leading up to his divorce in 1979. Here, we witnessed diachronic competition. His drinking contributed to the loss of his wife and prevented him from moving forward. In 1987, things picked up, and his role in Street Smart earned him an Oscar and prestige. Today, Morgan Freeman is 77, and he has and continues to engage in charity work, which is another example of diachronic cooperation. His donations to victims of Katrina and educational programs has had a major and positive impact on others. Trait transformation is clear in Morgan Freeman's continued interest in acting from a young child to a talented, accomplished actor now in his 70s. Regardless of his age, he is still a contributor to entertainment and an active member in society.
Samuel Jackson is an aspiring actor who made his reputation in 1994's film Pulp Fiction, where he played the role of a hired gun, a success which granted him an Academy Award nomination and future debuts in films like Star Wars, Snakes on a Plane, Jurassic Park, and Iron Man. Samuel Jackson was born on December 21, 1948, in Washington, D.C., and was raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee by his grandmother, who provided him with strict guidance. As a young boy, Jackson had a strong interest in the film industry, which made him a frequent moviegoer at the local movie theaters. This leads to trait transformation in Jackson, as he turns his early interest in films into a career in acting. Even experiences diachronic cooperation and competition, as Jackson often played roles that involved him being a rebellious character involved with drugs, which serves as a sort of confrontational outlet for him that forced him to confront his own off-stage personal addiction with drug use. And through the use of acting, Jackson was able to give up his addiction to drugs. As a notorious actor, Samuel Jackson experiences competition across the spectrum with other varying generations for acting roles, even at the current age of 65.
Betty White is an American actress that has been in Hollywood for almost a century. In high school, she wrote and played the lead in a graduation play at Horace Mann School, Beverly Hills, and discovered her interest in performing. This interest would later grow into a career. Starting in radio, she displayed diachronic cooperation by doing just about anything, even if it meant not getting paid. This allowed her to make many connections and propel her career to the next stage, television. During her early career, Betty was part of many popular shows like The Hollywood on Television, Life with Elizabeth, The Betty White Show, and The Date with the Angels in the 1940s and 50s, where a comedic genius caught the attention of talent agents. Betty continued to have success throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s with shows like The Mama's Family and The Golden Girls. Betty's fame hit new heights in the 2000s. Some notable shows she's done recently is Hot in Cleveland and Off Their Rocker. Throughout her life, Betty has experienced trait transformation. Her acting and writing interest in high school followed her throughout her Hollywood career. At 92, she's an inspiration to both the young and the old generations through her dedication and commitment to comedy.
Clint Eastwood, born in 1930 in San Francisco, California, grew up to be one of the most accomplished actors of his time. At age 25, Eastwood found his first acting job coming in 1955. His early career as a macho Western-style actor was coined for his roles as Rowdy Yates in Rawhide and Harry in Dirty Harry. Clint acted in over 50 films throughout his career to date. Eastwood had a young man's drive that never stopped, with goals of becoming a producer and director in Hollywood before his career was over. He then accomplished both of those goals by the early 1970s. This use of diachronic vision allowed Eastwood to stay in control of his Hollywood destiny. Eastwood continues to play a role in Hollywood today at age 84. Eastwood's latest film, which he directed, Jersey Boys, was released in 2014. Eastwood has been a true legend in the film industry, building up a net worth of $375 million. Eastwood had a personality off the stage that added to his macho man personality he played in films. This was shown through his love for women. a man with 2 wives and many mistresses to date, allotting to 7 claimed children. In this old age, he settled down with his wife and has not made headlines for affairs with women in years. This is a prime example of trait transformation. His love for women is now transformed over time to a love for one woman. Eastwood has aged relatively gracefully, and in an industry that usually rejects the elderly, he made it.
Acting since the ripe age of 6 in 1928, Christopher Lee is an actor that has lived a long life and has an amazing repertoire to show for it. Born into 2 successful and somewhat wealthy families, Lee had many opportunities to go where he wanted to, despite his parents' divorce at the age of 4. His mother took him to Miss Fisher's Academy, where he played Rumpelstiltskin. His love for fantasy and horror would only continue to grow as he became older, issuing in many examples of trait transformation, including speaking to Tolkien as a younger man, being told that he would be perfect for a role in any movies that were to come out, to being the infamous Saruman we all know and love today. From being a highly successful volunteer in World War II to being involved in the Special Forces, and hilariously enough, being turned down from several military roles in movies because he did not look like a military man, amongst many other examples of trait transformation. At a young age, Lee also took a deep interest in linguistics and language development, which perhaps went in tandem with his interest in J.R.R. Tolkien's books. He currently speaks 8 languages and voice acts so frequently that he is considered nearly as prolific as Tara Strong, but perhaps not as famous. Acting became a lifestyle to Lee, and he says that he will never retire from doing it. Now, at the age of 92, he is still acting in the new Hobbit movies, and voice acts many poems and movies from the comfort of his home in England.